My Niece moves to engage. Here's Deficit Maha from nowhere. And on the outside, Sakura Blossom. Sakura Blossom, Deficit Maha with a rail skimming ride moves into second, but it's Sakura Blossom in front and home. Sakura Blossom wins it by a length and a half. Pink Whitney closed for second. Deficit Maha third. Then Asian Matriarch and She's My Niece. We're in the gate. And they're off. Player B broke alertly and goes straight to the front. Devilish Desire in the red colors moves up to challenge. And also up there is Alpha Omega battling for the lead. So it's Alpha Omega on the outside and Player B. Those two go on, leading it by 2.5 lengths to Devilish Desire, and Captain Chuchis is close up, just 3 off the lead. Another 2 to Petkoff, who's by himself, 1.5 lengths in front of Precision Strike. Uncle Reg is next, 4 clear of Mistel Mendelssohn, and Meteor Man, who broke slowly, is far back. Alpha Omega takes him into the far turn with a 2-length lead. Player B in second. At the rail, Devilish Desire and Captain Chuchis. Captain Chuchis in third. Then comes Petkoff in fifth, 4 lengths off the lead. At the rail, Precision Strike being pushed along. Passed now by Uncle Reg, 4 lengths in front of Mr. Mendelssohn and Meteor Man. They're at the top of the stretch, and Player B has overhauled Alpha Omega. Opens up 3. Petkoff, center of the course. Uncle Reg is starting to finish with some interest. A 16th to go, and Player B in a big effort. Player B with the blinkers on, jogs home, wins it by 4. Photo for second will go to Petkoff, maybe. It's close between him and Captain Chuchis. Behind them, between Devilish Desire and Uncle Reg. Antonio Fresus staying on American Hope, and he's guided into the gate. And they're off. Imagination gets the first call. Maymoon along the inside matches strides. American Hope, Thompson, and last call, London. Maymoon speeds through and actually drifts right into his stablemate. Maymoon, tough to handle, did not take that turn too well at all. He didn't do so in his debut either. And Maymoon shows the way by a length and a half. Imagination is in second. Last call, London along the rail in third, followed by Thompson, who's racing in between rivals, and American Hope is 4 lengths off this heavy favorite, Maymoon, who goes on to the backstretch and straightens up, leads it by 2. Imagination is in second. Last call, London third. American Hope fourth with 4 to make up, and 3 more back to Thompson. They're heading toward the half-mile pole behind Maymoon, who went a moderate opening quarter and leads the way over Imagination, who's 2 lengths behind. Last call, London in second, as Imagination takes a crack at Maymoon right now. Maymoon, Imagination, speed away now. American Hope takes third. Last call, London is next, and Thompson is far back. 1/4 mile to go. Maymoon and Imagination head in head. Imagination on the outside and Maymoon at the rail come for the top of the stretch together. It's Imagination. Maymoon has to dig in. Imagination runs by him at the 8th pole. Maymoon fully extended, coming back for more, but it's Imagination with the upper hand. Maymoon on the inside is second, past the 16th pole. Maymoon re-rallying now. It's going to get very close. Here's the line. Maymoon found another gear and beat Imagination. American Hope, a distant third. Up next, the Sweet Life Stakes, race 7. No changes. Post time in 22 minutes. And they're off in the sweet life. And Julia's Dream bounces out alertly. So does Elegant. Those two hook up right away. And in the mix, Dial a Friend in the pink silks as they run down the hill. And so Dial a Friend speeds up on the outside to take a narrow lead from Elegant. Down at the rail, Girl of My Dreams is right there in third. They are followed by Alluring in the fourth spot. Visually is next, followed by Sea Dancers, 7 lengths off the lead. Then comes Julia's Dream, who is racing toward the back of the field suddenly, but 12 lengths off the pace. She was passed by the gray Zona Verde. Another 2 lengths to Antifona, racing on the inside of Granny Budgie, and the distant trailer is Voodoo Magic. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and Dial a Friend leads them into the stretch, opens up a 2-length advantage with an eighth of a mile to go. In the center of the racecourse, Antifona is starting to finish with a flourish. And here comes Antifona, going 3 to their 1, coming to the 16th pole, right up to Dial a Friend and right on by. Late run from Zona Verde, but it will be Antifona and Hector Barrios to win this sweet life stylishly. Zona Verde stormed into second. Then it was a photo for third between Alluring and Visually. Get him, Dusty. We're in the gate. And they're off. Get him, Dusty. Here's Disobey coming through quickly on the inside to take the lead. Antonsen matches strides. Those two speed 2 clear of Pratchett. Spend It All now in fourth. Then comes Hungry Hearts between horses fifth, followed by the Gingerbread Man, racing 3 clear of Get him, Dusty, and Dangerous Game at the back. It's Disobey into the far turn, with Antonsen pressing in second, a length and a half back to Pratchett at the rail in third. Then Hungry Hearts, fourth on the outside, just 2 lengths off the new leader, Antonsen. A gap of 5. Get 'em Dusty is inching up on the inside of a tiring Spend It All, followed by the Gingerbread Man and Dangerous Game. They pass the quarter pole and turn for home, and Disobey comes right back on the inside of Antonsen. They pass the 8th pole, 1-2, with Pratchett in third. Coming to the 16th pole, Disobey, Antonsen a length back, trying hard, but it is Disobey. And Disobey and Tiago Pereira with a huge comeback win, scores by 3. Antonsen second. Then came Pratchett in third, followed by Get 'em Dusty and Dangerous Game. In the colors of Redham Racing, going in. And they're off. Cali Bay was out quickly, so is Giovinazzo, and Mark's Hip is up to take the lead. Just behind them, Original and Don't Swear Dave is on the extreme outside. Camaraderie in the blue is rushing right into contention. Mastermind is caught about 5 wide into the first turn. Midnight Joe Star is toward the back of the field outside Silent Sunday and Fly the Sky. Around the first turn, and it's Mark's Hip showing the way, less than 6 furlongs from home, has a 2-length advantage on Giovinazzo in second. Then comes Mastermind moving into third. Down at the rail, it's Cali Bay with Camaraderie right next to that rival, 4 lengths in front of Original. Silent Sunday, Don't Swear Dave, Purple Cap, Midnight Joe Star between rivals, and Fly the Sky is outside of him. They have less than a half mile to go, and it's Mark's Hip loose on the front end, 4-length lead. Giovinazzo is in second. Then comes Cali Bay at the rail, Camaraderie racing between horses, Mastermind dropping out of it. Gap of 4 back to Original, inside Don't Swear Dave. Outside of them, Fly the Sky. Midnight Joe Star is wide, 12 or 15 off the lead, and Silent Sunday inside of him. Past the quarter pole, and it's Mark's Hip trying to cling to the lead. Cali Bay swings out with a good late bid, and here he comes in the white blinkers on the outside of Giovinazzo. Coming to the 16th pole, Cali Bay, Giovinazzo go on down at the rail. It is Mark's Hip and Don't Swear Dave. Cali Bay caps off a good day for Flavien Prat. Don't Swear Dave finished strongly for second. Photo for third between Mark's Hip and Giovinazzo. Midnight Joestar completes the super high five on Super Bowl Sunday.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a 5-day race week here at the Great Race Place. That's right, we're racing today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Holiday Monday, which is President's Day. In order to get through that 5-day grind, so to speak, and we all love the game, of course, we have to keep a very positive attitude. So who better than the Vuk man to join me on the seminar today? His name, Leo Vukmanovich. Leo, happy Thursday. Welcome to the seminar.
Oh, pleasure to be here, Tom.
It's great to have you. Now, you got a smile on your face already, but I have a feeling that might be left over from Valentine's Day dinner last night. Did you have a good dinner with your wife, Kathy?
Yeah. We were at the Del Rey last night.
That's a shocker.
Yeah. It turned out to be a long night.
Well, we don't want to know too many details.
Yeah. But we had a great time and got up to a late start today because this was there till almost midnight.
Let's face it, you treat every day like Valentine's Day, right? I mean, It should be. It doesn't just need to be one day out of the 365 days a year. Every day is Valentine's Day to you.
Oh, for sure. Always good for the heart. Yeah.
And Kathy lets you come to the track. More importantly, that's why you got to treat her like a Valentine, right?
You bet. I'm blessed. That's all I could say.
But one of the other reasons why you have a smile on your face, Leo, besides Valentine's Day yesterday, is you always come to the track with a positive attitude. You want no negative energy around you whatsoever because you really believe that can have an impact on your ability to pick winners. Tell us why.
I think it's the most important thing to be successful. If you got negative energy and if you walk in the track and you have things that are going to distract you, it's gonna take the effect and it's gonna cause you to lose. And if you have a good mindset and you come in with a positive attitude and you keep away from people that have negative attitudes, I think it can really help you be successful. And some really good examples are just coming into the racetrack. Like when I drive into the racetrack and I have a special place that I park, the people that greet me, they're super positive and they make sure that I, get into the track okay. I'm getting up there in age. I'm not too old, but I mean, I got a couple of bad wheels and stuff like that, and they make sure I get in. And when I get greeted to get a program, the people make sure it's everything about the place is just, it's just always positive, and I really enjoy that. And just coming in to sit here, it's just a really good experience for me, and what makes it just gives me success. It just makes me feel really good about what I'm going to do today, and I feel real positive about today, and it gives me confidence to take the rubber band off, like one of our friends used to always say, right? And make some good wagers today, right?
Now, Leo, it's one thing to walk in the track with a smile on your face and be greeted positively by all the employees and maybe even have a winner or two. But inevitably, most horse players throughout the course of the day have what we call a bad beat. You get a bad ride, you lose by a nose, and suddenly your positive energy can turn into negative energy. But I've seen you in that position many, many times where you don't let that affect you whatsoever. What's the secret for those of us like myself who do get affected by it?
I think part of it is I just learned over time that there's nothing that good that comes out of that. There's nothing that good that comes out of you getting upset at yourself, because then it just spirals. And I've seen where people get that just happened on Sunday. Like I was sitting.
Tell us the story.
Yeah, like a real good story. He said, a couple of youngsters, a couple of young friends that
sitting out in the
paddock, and we're watching a race, and it's at Gulfstream, and the horse is leading, and I'm waiting for the horse to switch leads, and I says, and what comes out of their mouth, he doesn't switch leads, and he gets caught in the wire, and it's like, like I'm doomed. I can't. I'm gonna quit. All that damn jockey and all this stuff like that. And and I don't know how much they bet, but it doesn't really matter. But right away, I'm going to quit, and all these things that comes out of their mouth.
Never going to play the game again, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean.
And what'd you tell them? You told them something.
Yeah, I mean, you're just one bet away from turning this around, right? You're just one bet away. And what was so great for the person that one of the people were there, and it's just like they kind of shake their head, but I just like hang in there. The day's not over yet.
You told them exactly what to do.
Yeah, you're just one bet away from winning. And what they ended up doing later that day was they ended up betting a pick 3, right? At the end of the day,
I think multiple times.
Yeah, a couple of times, and it's like that's the next thing I'm trying to teach them is have it 40 times or 20 times, right?
Press your opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just bet the minimum.
Right, and if you're right, you're going to get rewarded. But what was great about it was, and then so they had the first winner was I think $12, and then the next winner was 20, and then going into the last race they had the favorite which I didn't have in the golden hour, and it's like, okay, don't go watch the race somewhere else, right? So, but anyways, when they won. And then I sent a text, and that was a text is like, don't learn how to turn a page.
Don't get down on yourself.
That's right.
And I think the payoff, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere between $400 and $800. I think just off of memory.
It was the pick 3 was $300, which was decent payoff with Pratt in the last race,
and
6-5.
Yeah, that's right, with Cali Bay.
Couple of times, and then and that's what I said. I says you're one bet away from turning it around, and it's not like, I mean, we watch the Super Bowl, right? It's like
same thing, right?
Well, yeah, you get buried in that game, and it's like you can't ever get out, right? And that's the thing. It's like I've even personally, what I try to do when things aren't going right, it's like I try to back off on my betting, right? But then once I kind of get hot and I get that confidence going, like I'm betting. I'm going to the window with that confidence, and that's what I love to do. And I feel that I had that energy today when I looked over the card. Sometimes you tend to look at the card and you hear people say, "Oh, short fields and stuff."
Not
there's
today, by the way. Today's
a decent card, and I think there's a lot of opportunities. And the first race, there's a 3 to 5 shot that I don't like, and there's going to be several other favorites that I think that are vulnerable, and that I like some horses today. One of them I really like that ended up being scratched, but I think there's some good betting opportunities today. And then the other thing too, we wanted to talk a little bit about too, is like, how do you approach the card? Like, how do you look at the card? And what I try to do too is like, I try to find my strengths. Like, where do I think in this 9-race card am I going to extract money that I'm going to have a profitable day? And that's the thing that I also like to look at too.
And that could be a pick 3, pick 4, daily, double, straight, win, bet, golden hour. I'm not sure exactly all the wagers you play, but you kind of just take a step back from handicapping and then kind of twist your mind around a little bit and say, okay, how am I going to attack this race from a wagering standpoint, not from a handicapping standpoint?
Yeah, and that's always changing. Like, one thing is, for how many years I've been in this game, there's one thing I've always approached that I've always taken, and everything I do in my life, if it's business or, you always have to have continuous improvement, right? You're always looking to improve what you're doing, and the game's changing every day.
Every second, yeah.
It's changing. I mean, we changed the size of the bets. I mean, if you look at the industry, what's happening today, there's so many challenges, right, that we're facing to keep the game going, and I'm a type of person where I love this game more than anything, and I'm not going to give up on it. You try to. There's horse racing Twitter that I follow and I like, and you're chuckling and laughing, but you have to pay attention to it if you're going to be in the game. And then it
doesn't represent the entire viewpoint, but it represents a small viewpoint. Let's face it.
Right. But I mean, you have to kind of weed out you kind of got to. But there's some truth to what people are saying, and you have to really kind of take the truth for what you can and move forward.
In business, they say the customer is always right. We're hoping that Leo Vukmanovich is only right 9 times today. He's going to tell us who he likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's find out who the early changes are on today's Thursday card here at the Great Race Place from track announcer Frank Mirmati. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. Here are the early changes. The track is fast, turf firm. Rail on the turf is out 30 feet. In the first, no high 5 wagering, scratch 3, creative quality. There are no changes in the second. We have a blinker note in race 3. Pick 6 starts with the 4th race today. A couple of blinker notes in there. Turning to race 5, scratch number 6, Court Snort. The $3 all-turf pick 3 starts with the 5th. In the 6th, scratch 4, Commander D. Race 7, program scratches of 5 and 6. Scratch the also eligibles, 11 McKinnon and 12 Zaffarelli as well. In the 8th race, no changes. No changes in the 9th. Remember, we race today through Monday, 5-day race week here, like the good old days at Santa Anita Park. Enjoy your afternoon. Post time for the first in 58 minutes at 12:30. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is the Vukman, Leo Vukmanovich.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with the Leo Vukmanovich. If you follow him on Twitter, you can find him with the Twitter handle Vukman. That's why we call him the Vukman. And Leo, you've posted on Twitter many times, and so has Sanita, and so have some other people, some of your successes at the racetrack. You've had a lot of success not only playing pari-mutually, but also playing in tournaments. We've talked about so far in the opening, the first 8 minutes or so, how you kind of approach a card, first from a handicapping standpoint, and then from a wagering strategy standpoint. So as we go through today's 9-race card, not only do I want you to talk about who you like in a race and why, but I want you to kind of address specifically the type of wagers you might have outlined for today. So let me just ask you a question off the cuff. Are you planning to play the 50-cent early pick 5 today? Do you like the sequence?
That's something I play every day. I play that because of the low takeout. I want to take advantage of that, and I always play that. And what'll tend to happen, what I'll do with that is, if the fields are short, I'll play it multiple times. Yeah, I'll press it, and sometimes I'll press the shit out of it, right? I'll
George Carlin.
Yeah. But and then like when I saw Saturday's card,
coming up this coming Saturday. Sure.
I think there's and that's the first thing I do when the overnights come out, right? And one of the things is like you'll. Like, I don't know where to go get the overnights. I get that from you. I get the payouts from you. I get
on Twitter.
On Twitter. I get all that stuff I get from you. So thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
And that's one of the things that
glad it helps you.
Yeah. And so like that was an interesting thing because I think there was 4 8s and a 10. Right
in the early pick 5, which is unusual.
It's very, very unusual because it tends to be back heavy, but that doesn't stop me from betting it. So I'll press it. So that's always a bet because of the low takeout, because I think there's a big advantage to betting that.
Let me ask you a question, Leo, because there's a lot of questions I'm sure the viewers watching want to ask you. I'm trying to anticipate what some of those might be. Let's say today, unfortunately, I don't mean to bring any negative energy, but let's just say in the first leg you get knocked out in the 50-cent early pick 5. Would you come back and play the 50-cent early pick 4, or would you kind of pass on that because of the higher takeout?
I'll never bet that.
Okay.
I never bet pick 4s ever.
Because of takeout, or because it just doesn't pay enough?
No, because I get sick to my stomach when I look at the pick 5 payout compared to the pick 4 payout.
It's amazing,
especially in the early pick 4 because of the takeout, right?
Sure.
Because it's a low takeout, and you look at the pick 4, and then it's ridiculous. So right. I never play pick. I never play pick 4. So if I get knocked out in the first race, right? Let's say I got knocked out in the first race.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Right, but if I do, I just turn the page and look to the next opportunity that I think where I can extract some money out of the card.
And you and I spoke about this. I believe it was on Sunday with Callie Bay winning that last race on Super Bowl Sunday that we talked about. There were 2 heavy favorites in that pick 6 sequence. It's now a $1 wager, which I know you were a proponent of. And the $1 pick 6 on Sunday paid $17,000. That was incredible in terms of the payout compared to the way the sequence kind of fell.
Yeah.
Those are the type of things you're looking for. I don't think you were involved necessarily in the pick 6, but it's things like that kind of show you on a daily basis there's opportunities of ways to make money at the racetrack.
Without a doubt, you could always find something. There's always something to gamble on.
Well, let's see if we can make some money on today's 9-race card, courtesy of you, Leo. And we kick things off here in race number 1, sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track. This race is for maiden claiming 3-year-old fillies in for a $40,000 tag. And as we've been talking about, race 1 begins, of course, the 50-cent early pick 5. Scratch the 3, Creative Quality leaves us with a field of 6. Belle Appa currently is the 3 to 5 betting choice. You already tipped your hand. You said you don't like that runner. Who do you like in the race and why?
Yeah, I like. I'm landing on the number 6, Sugar Fish. It's a horse on a comeback, little short rest from October. Changed barns over to Jeff Mullins, who's more than capable. He gets the He gets Lasix, obviously, for the first time since he's running as a 3-year-old. Actually, she's running as a 3-year-old. The horse broke bad a couple of times. I use Andy Harrington workouts. The horse has 3 good works that he posted. She gets the drop, from straight maiden to 40,000. So that's who I'm on. And I think I'm going to get some good value. I think they're going to bet the O'Neill horse on the inside with Maldonado because he's going to obviously send. And then on the horse on the outside, our friend Mark Stanton, he
might tilt the tote board.
Yeah, he might. We'll see if he shows up. So if he shows up,
he hasn't yet. 4-1.
Yeah. If he shows
he's not
up,
involved.
We'll get some on. And then talking about approach, like I think there's some opportunity to bet some exactas here with a couple of long shots. My second choice is Nancy Griffin. First timer out of the Miotti barn. I always like to look at Miotti. He's having a decent meet. The sire of that filly is Tough Sunday. What a tough horse that
was.
That
if you know the backstory, right?
Yeah. And I like, and even another horse that I would consider using the exacta is the 5. So I'm gonna bet the 6 horse. I'm gonna make a win bet on that horse, and then I'm also gonna bet a couple exactas to the 4 and 5, and I'm actually going to bet a double to the horses in the next race that we talk about as well.
All right.
So that's a betting strategy and approach that I'm going to take in the first part of the card here.
And if you're like Leo and you don't like the current betting choice, number 2, Bella Pock, here's a statistic you might want to take notice of. Doug O'Neill, if you have the racing form in front of you, you can see that he has 13 wins. His barn has 13 wins this meet. Only 2 of them have come on the main track. The other 11 have come on the turf course. On the main track, trainer Doug O'Neill's statistics since the beginning of this meet, 2 for 23. That's obviously just a short-term statistic, but nevertheless might lead credence to why Leo doesn't like the favorite in race number 1. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for Calbred, maiden filly, 3-year-olds in for a $50,000 tag. We've got a field of 7 here, Leo. Number 3, Big Rainbow from the Ryan Hansen barn is the 9-5 Maureen Lane favorite, according to John White. How'd you see race 2?
Yeah, race 2's this filly's had 7 tries. I'm not on this filly.
That's enough for you, right?
Yeah, that's enough. And then
4 seconds or thirds.
Yeah, and then the one that Kyle Fry, he's gonna send, and that horse hasn't stuck very well, but he does get she does get the drop right out of the to the maiden claiming ranks. But I went to the outside. There's a couple of first time starters I think that have a shot. I went to the 6. And I went back and forth on these 2. Because of the rain, there was some mistraining, but somehow and then there's a horse obviously that I went to on top, Donito Rose, which is it's training over at St. Louis Ray, which is obviously we don't get any works or information from, but I just thought that just those connections they do pretty well. Although their stats aren't very good, but they usually have some runners and stuff, and so I just kind of landed there on the 2 first timers on the outside because I didn't care for the 2 runners on the inside, and plus they were short prices on the inside, so that's where I thought the value was. And then one of the things I did look at early before we got started was just the wheel pace, right? Who's taking action, right? And out of the 2, that's where I landed on the 6. He was taking a little bit more action than the 7 was.
Leo, both your selections, number 6, Donita Rose, and number 7, headed for are both 5-1 and 6-1 respectively. Would you consider making an old-fashioned win bet, or do you make many old-fashioned win bets, or is it primarily exotics on a day-to-day basis?
I do make win bets, and like I said, in the first race I'll make a win bet. In this race I'll hopefully be live in the double, and I won't make a win bet. Let's say I'm not live in the double. What I'll probably do in this race is I'll probably just skip it.
We know that you don't like betting favorites typically. Why don't you tell the audience, for those who haven't heard, what happens when you bet favorites?
Yeah, favorites. Yeah, I stole that one from a good friend. 2 things happen. You win nothing or lose everything, right? That's a good That's copyrighted, though.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
okay. The person doesn't mind that we share it with the rest of the audience.
Yeah.
Race number 3, we're back on the turf course. 1 mile's the distance. Fillies and Mares, $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. The rails today are at 30 feet. I should say this is the debut of the turf course today. As you can see, fast and firm conditions here. Beautiful weather here in Southern California. We've got a field of 7. Morning line favorite down on the rail, number 1, Northeast Star. Now, 5 runners in this field have exited the same race. This race was run back on January 12th, the first race that Northeast Star exits. There's 2 runners that I want you to watch. Certainly, Northeast Star runs well sprinting. This race today is 2 turns, so you can imagine that she would like, the extra distance of ground. Also, if you have the racing form in front of you, you can see the winner came back to win next time out since that race on January 12th. The winner earned a 79 by her speed figure, maybe indicating that Northeast Star can even improve first off the claim for the Papapodromo barn. But I also want you to watch the gray, who's going to break from post position number 2 in this replay. She also stretches out, switches over to Antonio Fresu, and particularly not only did she have a bit of a subtle trouble trip, but I also like the way she galloped out in this replay. So let's listen to Frank Miramai describe the action back for the first race on January 12th.
And they're off. Very even and smooth start. Avantap and Dolly May are among those battling for the lead as Corporal Violet now comes through to sprint away. And Corporal Violet has a 3-length lead suddenly over Avantap in second. They are followed by Ankira in third. Miss Commander races in fourth, just in front of Northeast Star. A gap of 4 back to Dolly May. Leopardess moving up in between rivals, about 8 or 9 lengths off the lead. DeJory outside of that pair, and Red Diamond trails. It's Corporal Violet moving into the far turn with a 2-length lead. Avantap is in second, and Kira at the rail. And outside of her, Miss Commander in the yellow colors is in fourth. Then Northeast Star fifth, 4 lengths off the lead, 2 clear of Leopardess. Inside DeJoria, Red Diamond out of last. Dolly May now trails. They have a quarter of a mile to go. Corporal Violet has been there throughout. Tackled now by Avantap. Avantap up to take the lead, coming to the 8th pole. Northeast Star moving up on the outside. Wider out comes Miss Commander. They're heading to the 16th pole, and it's Avantap with a 2.5 length lead. Northeast Star is clearly second. It will be Avantap. Avantap scores by 2. Northeast Star second. Dolly May from
Leo, nobody was going to beat Avantap that day. We can see Northeast Star finish second. But take a look at Ankara, who's the gray galloping out here now on the inside. That race, as I mentioned, that we just watched was 6.5 furlongs. Today's distance is 2 turns, 1 mile. Looks like she's going to appreciate that extra distance. As I mentioned, she's taking the blinkers off today. She's also having a rider change. You and I didn't compare notes before the race, but that's actually the mare you like best as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a couple of there's about 3 things here that I really like about this mare. One on the stretch out, and you saw on the start, she didn't break very well. Big jock move is huge. Blinkers off is something that's really that's one of my best angles, and it's been really good for me. I love to go to the window when the horses that I like blinkers off. I think it relaxes the horse. Like you said, like you wanted to point out, the gallop out on the horse. And one of the things is that horse is going to be in front of all the horses that come out of that race. And this is a race where, regardless of whatever happens prior to this is a horse I'm going to make a win bet on. A significant win bet on that I like. I don't think you're going to get 6-1 on this horse.
Not when you get involved,
right? But I don't know about that. But I think the one's going to be odds on.
Yes.
Right. Everybody's going to go to the 1 here. I think the horse can run in the money, but I just think the horse on the outside is just going to be so much better. And I think, there's some other speed in here that might run. And I think the 7 could either go or send or just sit right off. And then my second choice was the 2. I think there might be some value there, just from a price, because I think they're going to bet the 1 and the 3. So I'm just looking for a little bit of value, and maybe I'll bet an exacta, just depending on what the odds look like. Because one of the things too is I like to wait not to the last minute to bet, but I like to see where the odds kind of land. And there's a lot of last minute betting, but you could look at the wheel pace, or you could kind of get an idea what the odds are going to where they're going to fall.
Race number 4, we're back on the main track. 6 furlongs the distance. It also begins the $1 pick 6 sequence. This race is for maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-old fillies. A field of 7, number 3, Really Thirsty. A Calbred who debuted on turf at Gulfstream Park and now comes back to Southern California is the 8-5 morning line favorite from the Peter Miller barn. Another likely odds-on or close to odds-on favorite here. Leo, talk to us about race 4.
Yeah, this is an interesting race. I mean, that horse Really Thirsty is going to be, like you said, this one might show up like 1 to 2, that type odds. Does she have to win? Not necessarily, but I'm going to take I like a couple other horses in there. I think there's another horse in there, Chasing Cat, where I think had one out where she ran pretty decent. She broke slow, and Pratt kind of just rushed up, got in contention, and then just kind of let her go. And then he comes back and rides the horse again. The horse works out. These type of races that they get one, and then the second time that's like go time, right? And so I give her a shot, and she's going to have the value. And then there's the horse that's interesting is that I like as a real long shot that's probably going to be overbet is the Blinkers Off horse on the outside, the Fence with Ed Freeman. The jockey and trainer combination hasn't been too good, but I think this is going to be a big price horse that's going to kind of just get a trip. I think it's just being on the outside, and there's some other speed in here, maybe some other cheap speed with the 5, and then the 6. I didn't know what to do with that horse because the thing that I didn't like about the horse that I normally would use is the big gaps in the works. 14 days, 12 days. I think that had to do with the rain. Is that horse going to be fit enough? I don't know if that's the case. So I kind of went against that horse. But I mean that horse could, if you like that trainer. I mean, he can't do anything wrong right now, right?
Leo's top selection, number 4, Chasing Cat, in race number 4, you can see is owned by her breeder, John Manny. Good to see Mr. Manny bringing horses back to Southern California. He was absent for a few years, but we certainly missed his participation and welcome him back. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It also begins the $3 all turf pick 3 sequence. And race number 5 is 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types. 1 scratch the 6, Court Snort, leaves us with a field of 7. Number 4, Rough Ride, who emerged victorious for trainer Craig Lewis as the 5-2 morning line favorite. Can she repeat, or are you looking elsewhere in race 5, Leo?
I'm looking somewhere else. I thought this was the hardest race for me to bet, and that's what the racing secretary is supposed to do when you have a 9-race card. They're supposed to make the hardest race in the 5th race because it overlaps.
It's a big anchor race,
yeah,
right?
It's a big anchor race, and so it's like it was so hard. And I kind of played this is kind of like a jockey race for me. It's like because one of my favorite jockeys to gamble on is Teoga Pereira. And so that's kind of like why I landed there. And the angle that I used was this is a grass horse that the trainer probably couldn't get a horse, couldn't find a race for him. So we ran him on the dirt, gave him one out, and then landed here. So that was kind of like my angle on this horse. But if you like something here, you could. There's a lot of horses you can make a case for, and then that's one thing. The other thing that to talk a little bit about is like there's so many different places where you could go to try to get picks or get things like that. What you want to develop is you want to take your own opinion. Sometimes you might listen to some of the things that I talk about, like try to get some good. Like try to pick up on some things that I say, or maybe some of the angles or some of the things. And when you're listening to people do that, but at the end of the day, what you really want to do is you really want to form your own opinion. And then that's when I gamble. When I have a strong opinion about a race or about a horse, that's when I like to gamble on those horses. But that's where I landed on the 5. And then the other horse that I ended up choosing was the 2-horse Abhita, and that was like kind of a jockey move too, because that was Hector Barrios. And I think over the weekend, he's kind of an interesting jockey for me. Is he's kind of like he reminds me of Marco Castaneda, which we used to call the syndicate jockey, right? Where he'd show up on these horses and pay a good price, and then when you think he would, supposed to run, like he'd be nowhere. But it's just kind of like just a horse I thought that maybe could show up and run a good race. So that was kind of where I led on the 5. But I thought that was the toughest race on the card.
Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. This looks to be a good race. It's for maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-olds. Scratch the 4, Commander D, leaves us with a field of 6. The morning line favorite down on the rail, number 1. 2x4 is the name of the horse, ridden by Flavien Prat. It's interesting to note, Flavien rides the last 4 races, the morning line favorites. We'll see if he can sweep the late pick 4. But first things first, 4 of these runners exit the same race that 2x4 debuted in. Of course, I want you to watch 2x4's effort. He's going to break, from post position number 7. The other one I want you to pay attention to in this replay breaks from post position number 8. That's number 3, Uncle Chili, today. And the race they both exit was back on January 7th. It was the 6th race. Let's watch post positions 7 and 8 in this replay as we listen to Frank Miramonti describe the action.
And they're off. A stumbling beginning for Uncle Chili. Even break for the rest. Here's Dance Man coming through on the inside, quicker than all to take the lead. Curlin's Chaos in the red colors comes away in second. Then it's Final Storm and Vodka. Shady Tiger broke well, but is now 4 lengths off the lead. Followed by Jay Dutton, another 2 to 2x4. Uncle Chili, the distant trailer is Pete's Old Fashioned. It's Dance Man into the far turn with a 2-length lead. Curlin's Chaos and Final Storm closing the gap together. That lead diminishing for Dance Man, as now Curlin's Chaos puts his head in front, immediately tackled by Final Storm. Shady Tiger joins while 4 wide, just a length off this trio. Jay Dutton is next on the outside of Vodka. Then 2x4 and Uncle Chili there at the top of the stretch. And it's Curlin's Chaos opening up to lead it by 2 lengths at the 8th pole. Final Storm, Shady Tiger, second and third. 2x4 threading through traffic and finishing strongly. Here comes 2x4 along the inside, dives to the rail, and 2x4 is flying with Shady Tiger to the wire. Shady Tiger photo finish.
Leo, that race was run at the distance of 6 furlongs. Today's distance is 6.5 furlongs. Take a look at the gallop out for number 1, 2x4. Now, he gets stuck on the rail today, but that was a promising debut. Uncle Chili, we saw, missed the break. Also, Jay Dutton was caught wide that entire trip. That's a good replay to watch to try and figure out who you might like today.
Yeah, I landed on the 2 Jay Dutton, and one of the things that I liked about this horse, I think he's moving forward. He comes back with a big work. He kind of broke flat, and then he was wide the whole trip. Made a nice move. They make a jock change. I think the one's going to get bet. He's going to get really over bet, and my day's going to end up as I just got to hope Pratt that this falls asleep or something today, or has got the flu today or something like that. But I do. This is a race where I'm going to make a win bet on this horse, and I'm going to use the 1 and the horse that you mentioned in probably I'm going to bet a 2-1 exacta. I know I'm going to do that, but then I'm going to use a 3 in the try. As well, so like a 2 with the 1-3 in the try. That's what I came up with. And there's a horse on the outside. I think that's going to leave and set some of the pace. But I landed on the 2 here.
Race number 7, we're coming down the Hillside Turf Course. This race is for allowance optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than 4 scratches, 2 program scratches of the 5 and 6. Also, the 2 also eligibles, 11 and 12, will not compete. That leaves us with a field of 8. Morning line favorite, number 8, Beef Winslow, who was very impressive in victory last time out. For Mark Glad is the 5 to 2 morning line favorite. Continuing the theme, Leo, you're looking elsewhere other than Flavien Prat in this race.
Yeah, I mean, that horse was impressive. I originally was on McKinnon, and that horse scratch. I don't know if it was a late scratch or if it was a scratch that was scratched because he didn't get in, but he originally, I don't know what ended up happening is, but Doncic did get in. I like alsos that get in, and then so I ended up on 10-9. I thought that horse was impressive last time out. I don't know if this horse ever came down the hill. I didn't get a chance to look. But this horse is going really good right now. He's going for his 4th straight, and I think he's on the improve, and I think he's going to run a bang-up race. And then the horse I ran for second was a 9, Mass Rapido. Hoping that Kent gets off the hide here and maybe runs a good one. And one of the things too, and I like betting horses down the hill on the outside. And the fact that they're both also eligible, so it's just kind of like a real old angle it's actually an old angle from the 70s that I just kind of went with the horses that I scratched, because I ended up they told me the 11 was scratched, and then I went to the 12 and then found out he was scratched. So that's kind of like how I ended up there. I was really looking forward to this race. I mean, I think the 4-2 Love Stick Blues, that's an honest trier that always kind of gives his best. So I think it's going to be a good competitive race.
Race number 8, another allowance optional claiming race, non-winners of one other than, sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. Field of 7, number 1, Tarantino is a first-time gelding. Morning line favorite, Matanzas Creek from the Timyak Teen Bar, 9-5 on the morning line. 3 good career races up to this point. Give us your thoughts on race 8, Leo.
Yeah, race 8. I think there's an abundance of speed in this race. And I landed on the 2 outside horses. I kind of went back and forth with both of them. Will Be and Good Vibes Only. If you remember when Good Vibes Only ran last time, I'm not sure what happened, if Rosario just couldn't control the horse. But that was a first race back off of March. I went back and forth with these 2. But I just and Rosario had rode them both. I don't know if was he on the top? Who did he land? He's
at Fairgrounds.
Yeah, Fairgrounds today, and so it's interesting how Rosario off and I landed on both of them. And but I ended up on the 6 just because I think that this horse is going to get we'll get a decent trip. Based on the fact that I'm not sure what Good Vibes Only, if he's going to run off again or not. But I think those 2, I like those 2 in Exacta box as well. I mean, the 2's going to take some action, and also the 3, obviously, with Pratt. That horse, that horse ran at Del Mar, ran a big race, and then and 6 furlongs and dropping back to sprint. So that's kind of like where I landed at with that race.
6 and 7 in race number 8. Close out today's card in race number 9, going 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf course for starter optional claiming types. We've got a field of 9. Number 7, Mega Moon, who's been the beaten favorite 4 consecutive races, is the 3-1 morning line favorite once again today. We've got about a minute, maybe 45 seconds left, Leo. Tight on time, unfortunately. We could spend all day listening to your thoughts, but we need a winner to get out for the day.
Yeah, I really like Sanger here. I mean, he stopped the last couple of times, but what I love about the horse is now they're going 1 mile and 1/8, and this horse has always stopped at 1 mile. And I think what's going to happen today is he's going to get to relax a little bit more, and I think he's going to take the field wire to wire. And then my second choice was the 5. I can't pronounce that. Lahaina Flavor. I just think these little drop in class and big jockey change. And this is Rispoli. He likes to just anchor and make a big one run. So I like those 2. I'm going to bet probably. I'm not sure which one I'm going to bet. Sanger might get bet pretty hard, but I've definitely used him in the Exacta and Trifecta. So that's who I like there in the last race.
Interesting pedigree note for Leo's top selection, number 3, Sanger, a half to closing remarks, also from the Carla Gaines barn, who has earned excess of $560,000. Most of that earnings coming on the turf course as well. Leo, you used the word bet quite a bit during the last 40 minutes, and that's music to my ears, because that's the only way you're going to make money, and that's the way we stay in business. So I can't thank you enough, not only for your time and insights today, but your continued patronage here on track at Santa Anita. It's a delight to always have you here, and hopefully we can keep doing it for a long time to come.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to be your guest.
We'll get you back on real soon, Leo.
All right.
Hope you enjoyed it. Shared some pearls of wisdom with you. You can always go back and watch the replay as well on Twitter in case you missed anything. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late changes. Enjoy your day out here at the Great Race Place. Should be a great day gambling and betting wise. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf out 30 feet. Here are the changes. No high five in the first, scratch number 3, creative, quality. Changes in race 2. We have a blinker note at the bottom of the page in race 3. The fourth race kicks off the $1 pick 6. The fifth, the $3 all-turf pick 3 begins. Scratch number 6, Court Snort. Race 5, scratch number 6. In the 6, scratch number 4, Commander D. High 5 in race 6. Seventh race program scratches of 5 and 6. Also take out 11 and 12, the also eligibles. In the 8th race, no changes. And in the 9th, no changes. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. 26 minutes to post for race 1.